Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to OzGamers. You are here with Stephen Farrelly, managing editor of the site, and today we're going to talk to you about Gears of War Ultimate Edition for Xbox One, coming to you from the Coalition and Splash Damage. It's coming out in Australia on the 25th of August, which isn't very too far away, and recently out at Gamescom we actually had a chance to get hands-on with the souped-up version of the original game for the Xbox One, which is an exclusive, of course. And we basically just wanted to kind of highlight some stuff, and we managed to capture some in-game footage. Before we get there though, let's have a look at some comparison screens. So what you're looking at here is the original game on Xbox 360 versus the game on Xbox One. Now, when it was out on Xbox 360, it was a bit of a groundbreaking game. A lot of people at the time were sort of detailing the PS3 as a bit more of a powerhouse, and that the Xbox 360 at that time was a bit, was a little bit older and running a little bit less grunt in its hardware department, but somehow Epic managed to get the most out of it. Now, as you can see here, those screenshots don't necessarily do those comparisons justice. You really need to see the game in motion to understand exactly how far they've come with the polish and the sheen. And it's not just a HD overhaul. There's so much going on. The lighting, as you can see there, the particle effects, the basically all of the ambience has just been souped up to the nines, and on top of that there's just more detail in the environments. You can see a lot going on. And that screen there is a really good example of how far along the last game was, and then obviously you can just see that there with the new game. And we're going to have a bit of a look here. We're obviously on the level Downpour, which is one of the darker, more story-driven levels of the original game, and we know that Epic aren't necessarily known for their storytelling, so this was actually a really important level, and I can understand why this is the kind of launching point they've given us, the people out here, to tell you guys what to expect as its kind of point of differential. It's just a much prettier level, and it sort of speaks volumes about how far they've actually managed to bring this remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. It's not necessarily a port though. There's a lot of love that has gone into this. Now the base game is exactly the same. It's running at 1080p at 60 frames a second in multiplayer, so that's pretty clear from the information we've been given. It probably means that there are certain sections of the single player campaign that are only running at 30, but single player we're not too stressed about. But everything you're going to get is pretty much the same. All the audio is almost exactly the same as the original game. They recorded a little bit of new stuff, but by and large there's not much differential. All the animations, character models, the whole lot. It's just been sort of presented in a much neater package, and obviously, like as we said before, dressed up for the Xbox One. Now, what you are going to get, however, is five single-player chapters that weren't with the original Xbox 360 version. So it is the ultimate version, as they say, in terms of basically what you get. Now, we did joke a little bit before about the idea that Epic aren't necessarily the best storytellers in the world, but that doesn't mean that the game isn't enjoyable from a storytelling perspective. You make your own story based on how you play games, and one of the good things about Gears was there was quite a decent idea behind just how you approach combat from a juncture to juncture thing, and that's here again in spades. And I would be lying if I'd said that I'd jumped back into Gears since, but however, getting even just 20 minutes with this revamped, and this is me playing, by the way, so I apologise if I look terrible while I'm doing it, but yeah, just jumping back in just really made me realise how much I actually really loved this game. And they popularised Snap 2 cover, they popularised just a lot of things in terms of how people approach stuff, and it's a brutal game, and they haven't sacrificed any of that for the sake of this reboot. As you can see here, you can still take a chainsaw to the face of any Horde member that you come across, and in all honesty, who doesn't love that? Anyway, that's it for me. I'm just going to wrap that up, but the game is looking really great, and as we said, 5 new chapters, 1080p, 60 frames a second multiplayer. What more can you ask for?